This week, Tesla wins big energy grid project in California. China launches a second space lab, and K-pop is getting serious in Australia.
Plus, we run down Japanese Centarians, more self-driving cars, Russia bans Pornhub, and officially, one beer makes you more social.
This is Joe.
This is Alex.
And these are your slugs of the week.
First up, the Southern California Edison energy company has recently contracted out Tesla. Now they're going to have Tesla make a power grid that's strong enough to power 2,500 homes for a day. That's 20 megawatts. What do you think about this? Is this good news for the fossil fuel industry? Obviously not.
No, forget about the fossil fuel
there,
industry for a while. This is good news for Tesla in terms that this can turn into a huge PR victory because Elon Musk definitely has big ambitions for Tesla. It doesn't want to be just Tesla Motors and launch electric cars. It's very ambitious about this energy grid project too. And if all goes well and they keep to their word and complete this in 4 months and people in California are happy, this is a good PR win for them.
I think this shows how much they've progressed. It used to be a 3.5-year project to create this power grid at the size they're doing it. Now it's 4 months. This is clearly showing the end times for fossil fuels, don't you think?
End times.
This is a great step. This is now, we're entering the mass production stage.
2,500 houses will get electricity. Yes, this is good news for you folks. You know, God bless you. But if this is the end of the fossil fuel industry, that's a drastic statement. You know, you got to remember oil is powering millions and billions.
So we have that Aliso accident where there is now there's a problem with getting fossil fuels places because it's no longer efficient like we thought it was. There can be a pipeline explosion. Sun is going to come, and if we can store that energy on cloudy days, that is much more effective than risking losing all this oil in a pipeline explosion. It's safer for the environment with people's changing attitudes.
You just generalize new energy into one single thing. There's different solar energy, there's hydro energy.
I'm in favor of all of them.
Energy grid like this is just one of them.
In favor of all of them.
All of them are called new energies because they have not been overwhelmingly, competent enough to, overcome the current infrastructure.
No, it is now cheaper in many areas to get energy from the sun than it is from fossil fuels.
Back to Elon Musk, this is huge win, but about fossil fuel ending, let's not go too far. China is launching its second space lab. China is very serious about their space program. It's one of the 10 strategic industries they are investing a lot in, and they want to man these stations by 2022. It's a great win for humanity.
I don't know if it's a great win for humanity.
As you would put it.
I always appreciate when governments invest in science and technology, and that's what creates growth in our economies. We don't, the free market doesn't always promote what's right for the future. And this is why I'm a little disappointed in the United States, because NASA has cut back funding so much. Not NASA, but the government has cut back NASA's funding. And it's really slowed down the U.S. as being the --
No, but back to China for a while. I mean, China is committed to a space program, and I think they progressively have shown progress.
Just this morning, this Wednesday, we found out that their first space station they've lost control of it, and it will crash into Earth in 2017. China may be a little too far behind to make a big impact.
Come on, space program is not a sure thing. There's always risk, and you mentioned that, but didn't some SpaceX rocket explode recently as well?
That's
there
the
was
private
a big
industry.
video.
No, and here's one way that we can progress in the future is we need both private and public sectors working together, sharing that information. Elon Musk has been someone who's always been a little more open to sharing his own technological advancements with his companies. So if we share this information, maybe we can help China catch up faster. We can help, the U.S. has their technology.
China. I think China, they learned the space program from Russia and U.S., but they're trying to definitely color it on their own, and
Well, China has a lot to offer us as well. They have a lot of,
and it's also a status thing. I mean, China is the second world's largest economy now, and this space program will definitely, help Chinese citizens feel pride in their places, and overall, it's not a bad thing.
We'll see where that goes. Next up, we're going to go back to Korea, where we have news from the BBC that Korea is making, or at least attempting to make, a bigger dent into the Australian market. Bands such as Big Bang have had sold-out concerts, And not only in Australia, but we also have success in LA with
Sold out
KCON.
tickets doesn't mean that they're. I mean, I guess they're getting serious. They haven't made a mark yet.
No, well, they made a mark. A mark is a mark. I think they've definitely penetrated the market in a way that is admirable, but I do see a glass ceiling in Korean
K-pop
pop.
only had a 20-year start, and it comes from American pop, no? And then they were trying to fit it to Korean taste.
Right, so how it happened is we have British pop was kind of the original. British pop then came to the American market because that's where a lot of the money was. And then Koreans sort of, modeled that K-pop after
So it's like
the American
Bollywood
one.
trying to get back to the West, because Bollywood is a spawn-off in a sort of Hollywood.
And so this is where we can kind of look at it and analyze it a little better. It seems like, kind of like Bollywood, K-pop in itself has its own subgenre that is very successful, and it can go to subcultures in America and LA and Australia.
I've never seen a K-pop song hit the top Billboard in the US.
Except for Psy.
Psy.
Well, Psy
No, but Psy, as you know, just like me, you live in Korea, you know that Psy doesn't actually represent the majority of the K-pop content.
Not at all.
I would actually say Wonder Girls or Girl Generations do. And that BBC feature points out that too. I think it says factory girls or factory bands.
But when we look at it that way, then I think Psy may be closer to representing the future of K-pop. A little bit more electronic, a little less polished, a little more mainstream accessible. Things that can be played in a club, for example.
Mainstream accessible. No one understood what he was talking about.
Yeah, that was the point. He had a funny dance.
I would say he
had
actually fits
decent
the
songs.
Asian stereotype a little more.
That is somehow, that's sometimes how
It's either Bruce Lee or the fat Asian funny
actors
guy.
and Asian musicians break in because they fit into a stereotype. But we'll have to see how that goes into the future. Those were your main slugs of the week. But up next, we've got the 30-second rundown. So stick around.
Japanese are known for their longevity, and 32,000 people are turning 100 this year.
Ooh, that is kind of good news for them. They're alive. But that's bad news for the Japanese economy, because they're not producing enough babies right now to pay for that. They need to produce some tax makers.
These 32,000 people went through World War I and then they survived. We should be congratulating them.
They were born in
God
World War I.
bless you. Live long in health.
Yeah, but
they're proof that we can live 100.
Fair enough. Next up, the Lyft's president, the car rental company, has said that the majority of its fleet will be self-driving by 2021. Great news for safety, for roads, for humanity.
Easy to say now, 2021 is 5 years away.
But it's
I would
good.
say
Safety,
there are
right?
a lot of hassles to it. Safety. I just remember an incident about Tesla.
Oh, right. You remember one incident about that self-driving car and all the incidents of people trying to drive?
Change it all. Russia bans Pornhub.
This is sad news. This is ridiculous. Although I think the response was really funny from the Russian authorities. It was like, just go out there and meet somebody in real life. That was kind of a
I
weak
don't believe
response.
that porn ban ever works, but you gotta hand it to them. The way
Hand
they
it to
said
them,
it is,
why?
I think it was like, be a man and stop watching porn and get somebody.
So Russian.
They're very courageous. It's so Russian.
Courageous. What is this, like a brave new step for them? And finally, beer, officially, according to a study, can make you more social. One beer is just enough to do that.
This is what researchers are doing with their salary.
Of
course we know beer is making you sociable.
But did you know they also kind of tested how much more sexually interested you became by one beer, and it turned out that just one beer is enough to make you more open to it. This could help Japan. Think about that. Instead of these policies, just give them a beer.
Yeah, alcohol is the solution to everything, right? Hey folks, so those were our Slugs of the Week. Joe destroys Alex. That is the headline for today. Thank you for dropping by. If you press like and subscribe and tell us what you want to slug off next, we'll definitely be doing that now. I'm Joe.
This is Alex.
And these were your Slugs of the Week.
Just because we let you say the last word doesn't mean you get to claim victory.
Oh, man.
Come on.
One beer sociable? Someone get this guy a beer.